give you all your own day. Because you don't fit into the fire signs, the water signs, the air signs, or the earth signs. I found out from a viewer that y'all are the ether signs. Y'all are even extra. So, you get your own day. I really like that because I feel like the realization of Ophiuchus, or, at least public realization of Ophiuchus, is that it just kind of hit out of nowhere for some of us, where we didn't expect, we didn't even throw it into the equation, and a lot of people only recognize the 12 signs still. They don't recognize Ophiuchus, which is kind of funny. I mean, you would think that if you're very scientific minded, you would follow the evidence, right? Follow the mathematics. And that's why we're here, because we did that, right? And what's interesting about you, though, is you came to light, as a time where, around the age of Aquarius, when that entered, like the time of enlightenment, the time of growth. And it's almost like this 13th sign coming to light is kind of like the 13th disciple. And I'm not Christian, I love theology. But the 13th disciple, that is the most ignored of all the disciples, Mary Magdalene. And the age of Aquarius would be kind of like her season, arise, O daughter of Zion, and thresh, and it's like, there's a lot of cool, like, ways that we can interpret, the realization of Ophiuchus. But I'm not here to tell you about yourselves in that way, I guess, because I feel like y'all have done probably more research than I have on the subject. So I won't bore you with that. I'll get on with your reading. I just think that it's absolutely dope that, we're really finally recognizing the 13th zodiac, and finally, like, because you were probably feeling out of place, if you were, previously like Sagittarius or Capricorn, there's like this, or maybe you always knew. I mean, I don't know. But, there's, you probably felt like, you didn't really fit in with the rest of your sign, because you weren't, identifying with the correct one, or you weren't being identified as the correct one, So I'm just glad that it's all coming out, that we can finally recognize Ophiuchus and get you readings, right? The fifth element, right? I think that's pretty dope. Y'all are the fifth element. Cracked open, rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. Courageous peony, multifaceted, unique nature, let yourself be seen. The void. Stop, embrace winter, great cosmic womb. So, I'm seeing here is like the energy of like depression and like being brave through like your trials or challenges. Feel like you're trying to handle it with the best way you can with what you got, right? Since the alchemy card did come out, I'm gonna use my hermetic deck. So let's talk about this. Is it seasonal depression? Is it, depression that came on as, suddenly? Let's talk about it. Could have been feeling it for a while. There's something to be learned in the darkness, though. That's something I've learned recently. That, sometimes we need those moments of stillness in our body. It's like Jim Carrey once said, when you're feeling depressed, it means that you need deep rest. Sometimes your body just wants to sit with itself for a while, right? And that could mean that you're feeling overwhelmed or burnt out. I feel like, there's something to be gained in, embracing that time. And I know that sounds kind of counterintuitive, but like, I actually noticed that the more I lean into being alone and getting rest when I'm feeling that way, the easier, like the faster I recover from that feeling, I guess is the best way to put that. It's like, instead of resisting it and, trying to get on with life, sometimes you just gotta, take a couple sick days, get your rest, turn out all the lights, and, be in the silence. And I feel like the one of the biggest problems with our society today is toxic positivity, saying don't lean into your bad feelings, and I agree, you don't want to have like ruminating thoughts that you just dwell on over and over. I'm saying when you're feeling like you're in the void, like when you're feeling those moments of like, like it's kind of an insult to ourselves to not embrace what our body is telling us, right? Our body is saying we tired, right? We need rest. We need, and take time, because I know sometimes you struggle to like even do the basic shit like eating, showering, whatever. But while you lean into the rest aspect of it, right? Try to find like ways to turn, the necessities into kind of like an indulgence, if you will, right? So like taking a shower, it might feel like the hardest thing to do. Make it indulgent. Grab your shower beer, grab your weeds, smoke down, whatever. Take a long bath, like lean into those things, but turn them into like an indulgence, right? Into something that you're enjoying doing. It's not something that you have to do, right? It's not something you're being forced to do. It's something that you want to do because it's time to take care of yourself, right? It's time to put that in the front and center of everything. I also make it a point to make my bed when I'm feeling like that. Like every day. Well, I try to make my bed every day. I also have kids, so whatever, But there's, sometimes when I wake up and I make my bed, it helps me to not get trapped in it, right? Or it helps me to at least feel like when I go and get myself like all bundled up, I, got my RSO and shit, and I just embrace the sleep. I embrace, but it's nice to go to bed in a made bed. There's something about it. It helps, even if you're making your bed for, just to jump right back in it like an hour later, whatever the case is. You can use this time and really devote it to taking care of yourself if you are like feeling that kind of way. And that's okay. That's self-love. That's actual self-love. It's not when you're all happy and you're just like, oh, I'm happy, everything's great, da 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 da, self-love. No, that ain't it. It's when it's hard to love yourself and you put in the effort anyway. It's when it's fucking hard, but you're listening to your body, right? Your body is like, yo, we need some rest. We need to take a little break, see, and or your mind is wandering. If you're ever feeling like isolated or alone, or struggling with those feelings as well, like turn your solitude into a fucking party, and that's kind of what I've done. I didn't love solitude at first. The first few months of like being, outside of a relationship, because I was in a relationship for 11 years on and off, so when I was coming out of that was a weird experience, and it showed me how much I really was relying on other people's energy and shit. But the thing is Usually when you're single, you have freedoms, right? You don't gotta answer to nobody. If you want to wake up, fucking take a walk, go to the store, go, go get coffee downtown, go read a book somewhere, whatever the hell, like, who's gonna stop you, right? Who's gonna get in the way, or who's gonna interrupt your plans? If you want to start working on a business or something like that, who's going to get in the way, right? Nobody. Sometimes that's why we need these seasons of singleness to really, let us learn how to do shit, how to navigate life, to be more productive, right? Sometimes love distracts us from the important shit, right? And that's what they don't tell you in the fucking magazines and movies and songs and shit, is that sometimes they intervene in our purpose, right? Sometimes they're the thing in the way. They are not the way, right? Having a partner is not the thing, like, what your dream outcome should be. Your dream outcome should be feeling successful, feeling like you've accomplished your divine purpose, that kind of thing. And so, if you're feeling like, you've got shit that you want to work on, you're an entrepreneur or whatever the case, you guys are a very unique element and a very unique sign. So, I mean, you stand outside of all the rest, right? And I feel like that comes with a deep purpose. And so if you are called to be in solitude for a while or single for a while, it's because you're supposed to be getting some work done in another aspect of your life, right? Find your divine purpose and do it, right? Every day. Whether that's writing, vlogging, music, painting, drawing, whatever. It's your natural talent. It's a thing that you're good at. It's a thing that doesn't even feel like work when you're doing it. That's your purpose. Three of Swords tells me, that's depression. That's heartbreak. That's feeling, broken or defeated. Three of Wands in reverse. This is letting go of like a third party situation, or letting go of something that didn't come through for you in the right way, didn't show up in the right energy. Having 3-3 right off the bat tells me that you were cheated on, or you were in a third party situation, right? Love triangle kind of shit. Then we have Justice, the Libra card. Could be dealing with a Libra. But this is also the restoration of balance, right? Integrating your shadow. That's part of leaning into the whole depression, right? And I know that sounds so counterintuitive, because your first intuition is going to be to fight it or to try to fix it or to change it. But if you actually just lean into it and you're like, oh, today I'm not putting on makeup. Today I'm going to lay in bed. Today I'm going to eat fucking ice cream out of the box. Whatever. Lean into it and lean into it boldly, right? Because once you allow yourself, you validate how your body is feeling, right? You make it, you validate your feelings, right? And you feel honored in that because, you're actually getting what your body is like begging for. And you're not just giving that rest and relaxation to your body, but they're also taking time to really, focus on yourself and really, do the things like, the simple grooming, turn it into a whole ritual of like self-care, self-love, And I don't mean that in like the gross, toxic, positive way. I mean, love is a verb. Love is what you do. Love is what you put your energy into. And if you're putting your energy into yourself, especially when it's the hardest, that is where you're really learning love, right? That is where you learn deep, unconditional love. This is setting you up so that you know how to love later, right? It's also about loving your freedom, right? When you love your freedom, you want others to feel free in your presence. I think it was Osho or Terence McKenna that said, love should be a vehicle of freedom, right? It's not that infatuation where you just want to keep them, possess them, you get jealous, obsessive, whatever. That's not love. That's obsession. Okay, that's infatuation. That's something else. Abraham Tversky has this video called True Love, and it's beautiful. You should check it out. And he talks about how love is not about obtaining anything. It's about what you're giving, right? He starts it off with this analogy, and he's like, hey, hey young man, why are you eating that fish? And he's like, or I guess it's a parable. And the young man's like, well, I love fish. And then the guy's like, well, if you loved it, why'd you take it out of the water, cook it, and eat it? And a lot of what we see as love is that, like, artificial fish love, right? It's what they can get from the fish, right? What the fish provides for them, right? But to actually love something is to love it in its purest state, its purest form, right? And to not want to take from it, not want to get anything from this fish, but to admire it and give to the fish, right? So probably even feed the fish, right? And so love is supposed to be an act of giving and, working towards putting in action for something. It's not about, getting that booty. It's not about what they can do for you, right? It's not about the fulfillment that they give you. And that's why I think people are fake when they tell me, that they're in love with me one second and then they can't be my friend the next because if I, turn them down or something. And I'm like, if you actually loved me, you would still love me. That aspect wouldn't change, even if you were upset by the circumstances. And that's how reject them first or find out how they feel about you, really, And I know you're probably like, this is the weirdest advice. And honestly, though, like, it's the people who love you despite everything, that just want to see you do well in life, that show up for you. That's love, right? People who take from you, people who are possessive or jealous or, whatever, that's not love. And you're learning that lesson in this, right? Love doesn't hurt you. It's the lack of love, in the situation that hurts. Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Feeling a sense of loss. But you know what? You didn't really lose, right? Because the Knight of Pentacles, it's the only knight in the deck that's not moving, right? All dressed up, looking the part, and all of that, but not actually playing the part, not actually doing the thing, right? So it's like something that looked like love, but it didn't really show up for you in the right way, did it? It didn't really feel like love the way that things transpired. People who love you cannot hurt you. They literally cannot, right? It's in, like, when I love somebody, I do everything in my power to protect them. And that's another way to measure somebody's love for you. If they can hurt you, they don't love you. Bottom line, if they respect you, they can't hurt you. Love and respect require too much understanding, too much communication for that to be even a possibility. Alright. I feel like you're learning some really intense lessons right now in regards to relationships and what love actually is. This is going to really help you in future connections. I don't know how many karmic connections you have, but this one was definitely karmic, and it definitely was here to serve its purpose. And with the Justice card, it looks like it did serve its purpose, right? That's karma coming through. And we don't always understand about karma is that you won't understand karma, right? So if it's something coming from a past life, then you're just re-meeting this person in life, and who knows, you probably stole a bag of chips from them. You probably, there's probably bad blood between you guys. Like, you guys, they probably murdered you in a past life, but you don't remember that. Your soul is just like, this energy is familiar, and then it gravitates towards it. It's like magnetic. And then you find out later, oh fuck, that's how I knew you. Damn. And then, this is all part of the lesson. Six of Swords. This is like having to leave or walk away from a situation. Yeah, I definitely see that. It looks like either a breakup, or this could be a job maybe, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like it feels like a breakup, because this shit hurts, right? Three of Swords. That's like heartbroken energy, and that was the first fucking tarot card that came out. Five of Wands, conflict, resentment, bitterness, being at odds. Three of Cups, dude. Somebody, okay. 333. I'm feeling that hella third party energy. Three of Cups, this could talk about like friends, people you've celebrated with, right? Three of Cups is like celebratory energy, or like drinking, right? Going out, partying, whatever. Five of Wands showing up. It's like you could be mad because they were out celebrating, or let's see. Fuck, this is like, yeah, it looks like somebody was like drinking or being reckless, making decisions with their friends. Five of Cups is like disappointment. Five of Cups is like feeling depleted, feeling like you invested too much into something that was just not working. Two of Swords in reverse is like not being at peace, just kind of like at odds. This is also like making big decisions. Nine of Cups in reverse. This is like feeling like you got the shit end of the stick. Like, I hear somebody saying like, I just have bad luck in love, or I'm bad at love, or, and I don't believe that's true. I think honestly sometimes we just try to love the wrong people, right? And that happens. It's not anybody's fault. They're just not right. It was their fault for betraying you, but they were never really yours, especially if they could betray you, right? That's part of that ownership aspect of love, right? Or love, infatuation. It's like you can't own them, and if your love changes based on that, then it's not love. I think you're learning that. This is just like heavy karmic relationship energy. is like going through a really rough time. Nine of Wands, wounded warrior. Yeah. This is like coming out of a really hard time. And then with the Devil in reverse, this is like letting go of somebody who really put you in a bad headspace, right? That's Capricorn energy, but it also, if it's not a Capricorn that you're dealing with, I mean, it could be in their chart somewhere or whatever, but this is the energy that they're sitting in, right? That demonic ass, like, kind of narcissistic, toxic, you know, probably bad habits associated with them. I would say they weren't good energy for you to begin with, and it looks like their entire presence in your life has just been chaos and destruction. Like, it doesn't look like, I mean, with the Five of Wands, it tells me that there was just conflict, arguing, like, shit not working. It just looks like very chaotic. Two of Swords in reverse, like, that's like offensive energy, right? Like, y'all are just starting fights just to, like, and you know, they probably even started fights to justify their actions, like, so they wouldn't feel as bad for their betrayal. And they take their guilt out of it, shift blame to you. Right, the Hierophant, Taurus energy. This is the energy of you really learning and growing, right? And outgrowing this situation. Feel like you're coming to a new level. This is kind of a whole, well, this entirely is a spiritual experience. You know, this is something where your soul is evolving by this experience. We have Princess of Cups in reverse, right? And this is where you take, this is a time in your life, you know, in your growth, your development, where you're no longer giving all your emotions to situations that just bring destruction and just feel like chaos, right? Shit that just feels awful. Like, if it feels bad, it is bad. Trust your intuition on that. Sometimes some things feel good and are bad too. Yes, that's fair. I feel like your intuition tells you, though. I feel like you're a very intuitive sign. You're an ether sign, right? So you're the fifth element. You stand outside of the third dimensional shit, right? You're very multi-dimensional in your nature, right? Whether you're aware of your abilities or not, like, you have perception deeper, you have discernment deeper, and especially with the Hierophant card. And when you're showing up in this Hierophant energy, you can no longer, like, be with people who do not vibrate on your level, right? There will be a separation if you guys do not vibrate on the same frequency. That's another part of this. The more you learn and grow, the more you separate from people who don't. Seven of Pentacles. I feel like you're waiting for your good karma to come in, right? You're waiting for the good shit, the harvest season. You're looking for abundance, right? You're looking to, like, better your situation and better your life. At the top of the deck, we have Three of Pentacles in reverse. You might have to move if you lived with them, or if there was financial dependence in any way, that might, like, you know, make it a little harder. It's not impossible, though, and there are a lot of resources. I suggest looking into them. You know, a lot of people need roommates these days. You know, a lot of places are hiring. You don't have to stay stuck anywhere, you know. Just start planning, right? And I see that as soon as you let this situation go and you really understand the lesson in it, you get the Wheel of Fortune, right? Fortune starts turning, the wheel of fortune is turning in your favor, right? You're going to start seeing those blessings, that abundance. And this energy, that's been in your life, they've been sucking the joy out of it, and now you're going to be restored in that. All of this right here is just good fucking energy. This is like showing so much growth and evolution. Simply from just not tolerating the bullshit, right? You're just not doing it. You're looking, to be a successful person, to have better relationships, to grow from this. Like, you recognize it for what it is, and you're done, right? You're not gonna go back to people who put you through that shit or treat you like garbage. People who are deceptive as fuck. So okay. Mantra Shakti. Do not allow negative thoughts or speech to undermine your inner spiritual connection. Claim your voice and your power to express yourself from your heart. Though it may not yet be visible in your physical world, a new order is generating within the soul, and in time shall manifest in a transformation that heals your inner world and improves your physical life circumstances too. Bagalamukhi. She arrests the flow of negativity, particularly that of our own making. She transforms our karma from that which hinders our joy to that which can create true happiness. As you seek refuge in her, you are protected from gossip, slander, and any form of negativity from others. A positive turning of the tide of good fortune is predicted, right? Which is great because you have the Wheel of Fortune there. It's just more clarification that shit's turning around for you, and I'm really glad to hear that or see that. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have for you. Namaste. I love you guys, and I'll catch you later.